Hello, World Kindness Day 2021. Woohoo. My name is Bill Ottman. I am the founder and CEO of Minds and Minds.com. You can find us on the app stores. And we are all about spreading kindness and being open to the full spectrum of conversation. And, with the hyperpolarization that we're experiencing right now on social media, I think that we need to reiterate kindness and compassion more than ever. And actually, we have spent the last year pulling together a research project and study on how important compassion is in the de-radicalization process. So, right now, a lot of the common media narrative is that, there's rising extremism and hate speech. And, in some ways, this is true, but it is also true that the solution to that is not to censor the conversation. And in fact, there have been dozens of studies that have shown that censorship can actually cause a psychological reaction that is very negative and can cause the person who was censored or banned or ostracized in any way from any system. It could be even bullies getting suspended from school. It's been shown that expulsion, total expulsion is rarely effective at combating the root issue. And, ultimately, we believe that civil dialogue has to be the solution. If you look at speech laws in countries all around the world, I think that it's pretty clear that the free speech wins in the long run, even if it does expose some of the uglier side of humanity. It's really necessary for that to get exposed to sunlight in order for it to change. And so we partnered with Daryl Davis and Jesse Morton and a number of PhD researchers on this paper. And for those of you who don't know Daryl, Daryl is a Black musician and race reconciliator who has successfully de-radicalized over 200 members of the KKK by befriending them. And, when we look at what's happening in social media with the calls for more censorship, that really flies in the face of all of the evidence that actually exists around countering extremism. It seems like they're really just trying to push their problem under the rug and make it someone else's problem under the guise of, creating these safe spaces. And absolutely, I think that, people deserve to be able to control their experience online and, for their kids, certainly. And, but that really comes down to giving people control over the algorithms, not creating more algorithms. And so that's why we really care about transparency and open source software. Now, over the next decade, we're going to be actually tracking our ability to have people in our community change their mind on a whole variety of topics. People are struggling these days even to just have a conversation with their uncle who might be on the other side of the political spectrum, and they'll call him an extremist. And that's just not very healthy. I think that we really need to come more towards the center and be willing to tolerate views that are different from our own, and be a bit more anti-fragile. As Jonathan Haidt discusses in a lot of his work, particularly in his book called The Coddling of the American Mind, which I really recommend people check out. So, if big tech is just banning the problem, their rate of de-radicalization is going to be extremely low because they're not even giving people the chance to change their mind to become kind. They're just saying, no, I don't really want to deal with it. And so we believe that over the course of the decade, we can have a much higher rate of de-radicalization, and we can actually have much healthier conversations and bring really down the temperature of the public discourse. So, it's really about changing our lens that we're experiencing media through. Because, from one state of mind, you could see a piece of content that rolls through your newsfeed and think, oh my gosh, that's just so offensive. That person needs to be banned. That's totally unacceptable. And, I'm deeply offended, and I'm going to be mad for the rest of my day for what I just saw. Or you could look at it and say, that's obviously offensive. But I'm not going to let it ruin my day. And, there's a human on the other side of that keyboard who is clearly experiencing some issues. Maybe they need someone to talk to. Maybe it would be good to hear them out and have them feel heard. That's what Daryl does. Actually, when Daryl confronts a KKK member, he just listens to them for years. Sometimes he'll just listen. And then finally, they'll start asking him questions. And, because when you try to jam ideology down people's throats, they just, basically throw it up. They don't, you can't force people to think a certain way. And so I think we just need to become more accepting that, everyone in the world isn't like us, and actually find catharsis and satisfaction in being around people who aren't like us, or at least accepting of the fact that they exist. So, that's just one project that we're working on at Minds, but I think that just bringing attention, people forget about kindness. They forget about compassion. Like I said, you can look at things, you can look at the same person or media in two different ways, one through a lens of kindness, compassion, and one through a lens of ideology and, sort of division. So we're really trying to educate people on how to consume media differently, because it impacts their lives. It impacts your life. And people just forget. They're all, focused on calling each other out and being right and winning, as opposed to just realizing that we're not going to solve all the problems of the world through that kind of divisive mentality. So really appreciate everyone bringing their own focus onto this. We've been a long time working with Touch of Life, and I really am excited to continue to bring this to light. So I hope everyone enjoys the rest of the day, and feel free to find me on minds.com/Ottman, Ottman. You can send me a message. You should follow Touch of Life. I'm pretty sure you can find Touch of Life on Minds as well, and obviously show support to the foundation. So yeah, thanks very much, everybody. Have a good one.